Get a little bit of this set up. It's worked well over here last time. Laid out like this. And yeah, all right. So something I want to do is I was reviewing the video on this upper right ramp, and I determined why the thing isn't working right. So I'm gonna open up that video in a second, and I'm just gonna kind of describe what I saw. First, I'm gonna need to find the spot on it yet, or on it again. But I think it was at like the 30-minute mark. I have it over here. This. All right. I don't need audio. So when I was watching the stream back, I think it was around the 30-minute mark. Maybe it was a little earlier. It was one of these first times that I had the thing. Oh, it must have been, yeah, it must have been over here. Yeah, all right. So at this point, let me mute this so it doesn't beep all the time. So over here, and I believe it's E is step forward, yeah. Okay, so when the ball hits right along this section here, if I step forward, you can see it ricochets right up and hits the side of the ramp and just starts rattling like crazy. And then it loses all momentum and plops back down, right? So there it is again, hitting that sweet spot right there and rattling back and forth, back and forth. So I want to fix this. So it's very obvious that let's get this back here. Okay, so if we watch the trajectory of the ball, step forward, step forward, step forward, it comes right diagonal, like sharp, into the corner of the ramp, because the corner of the ramp is right here, right? So it's coming straight across there. It's not going up or anything, it's just straight across. Which, if we look on the play field, that is effectively, if I go to a sketch, well, I'll make a new sketch. That is effectively sketch. Yeah. From, come on, slot. Right there to there. Right? And this is so 9 what is it? 1 and 1/16 is 17/16, which is 1732 inches. So that's the ball size. This is basically where it's going. This is and clearly this is going to ricochet up and hit the corner, kind of like what we're seeing in that video, right? It just hits that corner and just bounces all over the place. So my assumption that the ball went, oops, that the ball was going, come on, let me select this. That the ball was going this way was wrong. It's going right in here. So the ramp needs to follow this line of this line of reflection or orientation, right? Now, I did go back and start a ramp that does have that correct. I didn't want to complete it, but I wanted to start getting some sketches and thoughts down. So if I go and so let's close this for a second. And I'm going to rename something over here. Because this, instead of it being, nope, not that one. Stop it. So this is ramp A copy, right? So if I make this a old and change this one to just plain old A again. So this should load this up. I go to playfield assembly. So now you'll see the ramp shifted ever so slightly. Now let's look at this trajectory now. If I go to wireframe, and I start a sketch again, the ball, which was going into this corner here, is now more along the lines of this thing. And let's see where it's coming off of this flipper here for a second. So that's kind of the lower tip, right? So yeah, that's kind of the lower tip, kind of like what I have right there. And this is, hi Sam, hi Jake. This is again 19 sorry 1716 1732s. So now this is more in line with that, right? And if I make this metal come up this way also, when the ball comes and hits in this spot, it'll ricochet in, let's pull this like here, it'll hit effectively here, which now the angle of reflection is along this line here, which would then mean this thing would come up, whatever the equal of the normal is. Give me a second to kind of set up these angles, because that's going to hit about right there, right there. This normal is from here. Nope. Perpendicular to this. And then this needs to be on here. Now these angles need to be equivalent. So this angle here is about, come on, 72 degrees. And now this angle on this side needs to be about 72 degrees. So that's 75 degrees. 72 degrees is more, oh, stop that. You need to stay fixed. 72 degrees. Oh, I need to make this driven. This driven. Okay. So 72 degrees. That's 77, 73, 70, 71, or 70. So there you go. There's like 72 degrees right there. That's about equal to that. Now this reflects up the ramp. See how it's going up the ramp there? If I fix this, and then it's going to hit the corner here, and it's going to continue to reflect up and curl around the ramp. So this is like the new trajectory that this thing needs to be compared to what it used to be to satisfy this bounce and get rid of the thing. Yeah, you can see I'm pointing there and seeing how floppy that is. But even if that's not floppy, it was still having, you know, a problem, because that ball was actually hitting this piece of metal. It wasn't hitting the piece of paper, and I couldn't see that when I was playing because obviously I was flipping over on the corner there, right? So it still hit this piece of metal, and it bounced and hit. So this new ramp, I think, is going to fix that. And it makes things a little bit wider. Now, what kind of effects does this have on all the things under and below it? Well, it's not going to bother this ramp at all, right? Because this ramp is still going to be above it. That's fine. What is going to bother it is the guide underneath, which is this guide here. let's hide this ramp for a second. This guide here. So what I really want to do is cut this ramp in a little sharper here, because this angle is going to be here and it'll be fine. So it goes along this guide more. Now, another option is I could pull this guide up a little bit and give some more space. And if I do that, that's going to bother this mounting point for this ramp, right? So ideally, I want to pull this up, but I don't think I can. And yeah, I'm not sure I can. Well, I guess this. Yeah, because if this goes straight up and then sharps pulls down, this piece here is not really going to be on the inside per se, but it could be. So one answer could be to take this line, and I'll do a sketch to kind of explain what I'm thinking. Would be to take this line and extend it up this way. Now, the thing I'm worried about is the height of this ramp in this spot. Because you remember, I have the ramp that kind of comes around here. And if I go to a image I took over in here, see if I can find an image of it. Yeah, so this is still pretty low over here. And it really doesn't get high enough until closer to the edge. So it's asking a lot. Yeah, I don't have the greatest pictures of that spot because of course I don't. Oh, I'm still playing over here. Of course I don't. So that I'm concerned about that. Basically, kind of underneath this post, it's probably fine, but right where the post is, it's not. So I don't think I can realistically go up this way. So I'm stuck with kind of coming down here. Now another question is, can I straighten this a little bit more so this kind of comes up? And I don't know. This line is based on these lines. So if I go and I edit this line, and obviously this is fixed at the moment. If I unfix that, but I fix this curve, you see that this is kind of the ideal, right? Where it's just missing the side of the ramp, but this post is going to be in the way. And I don't think I have a good answer for that. Right? Um, I don't know why this is complaining, but anyways, probably because I fixed this. No, I didn't fix that. I don't know why this is complaining. But yeah, this post is on the wrong side now. And there's not a good way to fix that, unfortunately, without compromising how this ramp goes. So there, the post is on the wrong side now. One solution is potentially to attach the post to a bent piece of metal here. Basically, kind of put a little hat that the post sits on. And I'm not opposed to that, I don't think. But it does add one more non-standard piece. But then that would fix this, and that would guarantee that the ramp is in the right spot. The other thing to remember too is this ramp is going to bend in a little bit when it curves down. So let's undo some of these changes. Okay. So So the other thing to remember is when this ramp is actually bending down, it will flex in a little bit. Wish there was an easier way to see this. Actually, there is. So at this point here, well, really, at this point, it'll be fine. At this point, not so much. So what I want to try and do is curve this in a little bit more, because I know for a fact the pumpkin can be in more based on what I've seen here. Not there. What I've seen in these images. There is some space here to manipulate this thing. So how about I try that? I'll worry about some of those issues later on. Okay, yeah, so this I want to pull in more, and it looks like I probably could. So let's unfix this. This needs to stay fixed. This is the angle of entry. That's the angle of exit. Yeah, see how I can pull this down a little bit? And it just kisses and misses all that. And there's still space here for the pumpkin, and it moves the pumpkin out. Jeez, everybody's like talking now, huh? So now this will miss that. There's still space for the pumpkin. This ramp whips around a little bit more. And that might solve the problem. Another thing I want to try doing, if I get rid of this for a second, I can now pull this. Well, I don't really want to change that, because if I change... Oh, I know what I can change. I can change this a little bit. So if I now take this and I fix this, because this is in the right spot now, and I take this and I adjust this entry, because this is now going to give me a little more curve. So if you remember, if this shoots up too high, it's going to hit the post. But if from here, let's go to a drawing for a second. The other come on, edit. The other point of entry is, and actually I'm gonna make a new drawing. I'm not gonna work on that current one. Otherwise it gets really messy really quickly. So if you shoot a little bit higher, like right here, and now you're just gonna miss this post, and this ball is the same width as this, is equal. This is a little like this. We'll fix that there. This is coming up this way now. So let's say the ball is just missing there. So it hits here. Let's see what the reflection is on this angle. And that buzzing is bothering me. So if I fix this, because this is where it's coming from, this is where it's going. Come on. These are all sized equal. And then the normal is going to be coming off this thing. Basically like that, yeah. And if I fix this line here, I fix this. And let's make a relation to here so I know what this position is. That's 62, basically 63. And then this side needs to be basically 63. 63. So the ball is going to go straight up. See that? The ball goes straight up there, and then it's going to bounce around. So this looks like it'll be all right. Just at least looking at it here, it seems like it's going to be fine. So I think this is the updated ramp contour. Well, almost. I gotta fix this. Let's exit out of the sketch. Let's fix this horse malarkey down here. Edit component. This. No, not you. This needs to be more bearish. All right. And then this footprint, which is ramp footprint. This needs to come. This needs to stay fixed, so don't go anywhere. This needs to come down here. This comes right there. And this is going to be a problem child, but go there. You'll go. Stop doing all that. You'll go there. So that's kind of where that footprint will be now. Which means this hole which was up here in the device holes. Will be more over here. Remember, this is going to move up and over a little bit when it gets pushed down. When it gets pushed down, so that's going to bind down kind of like right there. So I think that's the new ramp footprint. And I don't need to view these sketches anymore. All right, I think that's the updated fixed ramp. Now, obviously, the guide is wrong, so I need to fix the guide. That's done with this other little playfield sketch. No, it's not, because I made that guide separate. Okay. Well, wait a minute. What's it attached to? Not attached to this? I don't know what I attached it to. Usually attach it to the line itself. Maybe I don't know. All right. Well, either way, this guide is going to not do this. Oh, this is I attached it that way, right? Linear to yeah. And this is parallel to yeah, no. All right. Unfix this. This needs to be. Well, no, I don't want to remove that. That needs to be this was collinear to this. That's right. This a set curve? No, it's not. Yeah, so this is no longer going to be a curved thing like this. I don't think. No, it can't be. I'll get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. This is going to cause a lot of problems in the rebuild, fortunately. But yeah, this is going to need to be like right there. Uh, yeah, it needs to be like right there. Okay. 4.75. All right, let's see everything that's broken. Oh yeah, that's everything. This boss extrude needs to get fixed back to here. This extrude needs to get fixed back to here. That flap is going to come down this way. I'm going to pull it down here, because then the flap can come underneath. This needs to be set to 1. And yeah, this is eventually going to have to shift a little bit. There's that. Next up is this cut, which obviously this doesn't exist anymore. None of that exists anymore because I deleted it all. So instead, I'm going to go from here to here to here to here to here, and from here, here to here to here, here. And then there's this other line segment piece up there that needs to go away. Okay, there's that. Next, there are fillets that no longer exist. I need to So I need to modify those fillets. This fillet needs to go here. This fillet needs to go on the other side. This cut extrude yeah, this cut extrude is no longer a thing at all, really. I need to change the plane on this. Sketch plane needs to be on here. And then the sketch is now all backwards. This goes away, goes away. This attaches onto this side. This goes away, comes out this way. 1.5 inches is fine. The extrude also needs to swap going the other way. Good. Then this extrude Also has the same sketch plane issue. Sketch plane be here. And then a similar issue with you let me please? Thank you. Similar issue with this. Just go over to here. This needs to go here, and it should be actually this can be right in line with this. Oh, okay. And then the extrusion needs to be flipped. And I need to select the surface. Because of course I do. Okay. That's done. So now, I want to modify the entry point ever so slightly. Because this is going to bump and the ball can come to rest here, and I don't like that. Where are you? You are here. This, I'm going to unfix that. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to pull this up here. I'll now fix this line. I'll unfix this point. And pull this down a little bit to there. Now there's going to be a problem because the footprint is going to go underneath this post. Or not. No, I guess it's not a problem. Ignore me. There's no problem. That's fine. Alright, so that's probably going to be good enough for this. Now when I make the flap will bind here and can bind over here. And I actually don't like that too much. And I'll tell you why. If you remember from the video, the point of impact was like right over in the corner. Like right here. And right there, there is absolutely no binding point. So that's bad. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to select that ramp anymore. What I'm going to do is edit this. I'm going to change this so it's, instead of it being 1.5, instead of it being 1.5, it'll be 1 3/8. That way it comes in a little bit more. Then I'm going to take this footprint here, and I'm going to pull this footprint up a bit to there. So now that's closer to the slam point. And you might be wondering, well, what about the ramp flap that's going to kind of fit underneath this? It can still kind of fit underneath here. I can slide it underneath this corner here and mount it there. I think it'll be fine. And I actually designed this wrong because this, whatchamacallit, needs to be up and over more. So let's exit out of this. Let's go to this again. Let's unfix this. Remember, this whole thing is going to be up and over. This needs to really be more like this. With this. Yeah, that's going to be about right. And I can curve it a little bit with my thumb. Okay, so when you hit this here, as shown with this, oh, not that one, this one. So that's actually obviously perfectly fine here. I don't know what you're complaining about. So this is perfectly fine here. However, if I take this point and I move it ever so slightly down, come on, let me move it. Really? If I take this point and move it down ever so slightly, what are you still coinciding? Oh, it's because of this. Let's make this driven. Nope, that didn't fix it. Let's also make sure that this is fixed. That way that doesn't move around. Why are you just sliding straight down? Oh, because this is fixed. If this happens to come more at an angle here, which is still effectively normal to that, this is still an angle of 73. If this is no longer driven, if this becomes 73, that's going to go straight up. Going to hit here. Which is then going to flick it around. So this should be fine. Yep. At least in theory. Makes it. Yeah. So in theory, this should be fine now. So good. And another thing that can potentially be done because of the angle of this thing, this whole apparatus here can probably come up a little bit more. Let's fix this. Pull this up. Tickle there. Let's fix this. Let's unfix this. Let's slide this up a little bit. Not that far. Slide it up a little bit. Now let's fix that. So what I basically did here, based on how the ramp is, that's now going to go right in there. But that also means I can take this and I can pull this up like this. And in doing that, I can then take these targets and I can adjust the targets slightly because I want to pull this ramp up. So that's fine. Uh, this ramp, I want to pull it up an inch. Where's the ramp? Right ramp. You were attached to that. This fixed. That's a midpoint to that. Oh, okay. So if I pull this whole assembly up, the footprint, I pull this whole footprint up about an inch. One of these things is fixed. Why not? Oh, it's based off of that. Right. Based off the through holes. Okay, so I take these. Right, this is distance from that. So wait a minute. If that's distance from that, but that's no. Something fishy's afoot. Oh, we didn't want to do that. Um, you want to do this to make sure that that height doesn't change. But this doesn't want me to move it. Oh. Oh, this is collinear. Get rid of that. Pull this up. All right, this be midpoint with this. Okay, this is fixed. Okay, so now move this up. And if this footprint is half an inch, then that's half an inch, and that's 1 inch. So that's perfectly fine to have that up there. And that moves that whole thing up. Good. Now, that also means, based on where these pads are, this can technically come up here. So all these targets can kind of shift a little bit. And this orbit can shift a little bit. See the cascading effect of this? Okay, that's fixed there, so that's good. So this pulls up there and fixes. This pulls up there-ish. That's out. That one. That doesn't work because this footprint is now in the same spot as this ramp, which is no good. This comes up a little bit higher. That's better. So now this can pull up to here. That works for that. Yeah, look how much easier I just made that orbit shot just by lifting that up a little bit. And in doing that, this whole orbit itself doesn't need to come doesn't need to be this gigantic hole anymore. It can shift up a bit, which is good for a variety of reasons. I'll get to that in a moment. So this whole apparatus here now needs to move up. This needs to go like here. This needs to come up to like here. And this. Yeah, so I might only be able to have one target there now, which is honestly probably fine. So if I take this target out, let's say, and only have this target up here, or I could do two smaller targets. I might need to do two small targets because that hole is still a little bit too big. So I'm going to try two smaller targets over there. one facing down more, one facing up more. That would exist over in here. Where is it? So I want small rectangle target front mounted. These things. So let's get 2 of these. Okay. Pull these things up here. Oh, no. Pull them down here. Where did... Oh, this is... Yeah, that has an error. Well, of course that's going to have an error. Let's pull you up here. Let's pull this up. Pull this up. This should no longer be fixed here. That's like that. This comes back. Nope. This comes back here. Goes. All right, stop that. You can stay here and you can be fixed. You can come up this way. That. Yeah, so that can be kind of like that. That has that hole again. So let's rotate these appropriately. That will mate in parallel to this. And this will mate in parallel to this other way. This goes up this way. This comes down this way. Those are 2 individual shots still. Now, the one unfortunate thing is you can't graze this target as easily as you could with the larger one. But there's at least a couple separate shots right there, so I can have 2 different targets. They'll honestly probably do very similar things. Those are kind of difficult shots to differentiate. When playing, just adjusting this a little bit. Pull that out more, that would be nice. Build. Now that those are bound onto this footprint, I can go in, or this hole, I can go adjust this hole slightly. Maybe make these work a little bit better. So you can definitely hit that target with this, or with the left flipper. I want it to bend down more. let's do I have a good picture of this back section? Not really. Well, kinda. So I basically pulled this up. So the shot's now like here-ish with this going up. I guess one solution is to use these round targets because these round targets do allow for more side space going up. You know, these flat targets, they need to have a place to push down, but the round targets always have a spot to push down. Where's my round target? Well, I might still be able to get 2 targets there. Or two full-size targets. But if I use round targets here, I'm going to want to use round targets everywhere, and that'll save a couple bucks. Oh, I could always use a regular post. Instead of a bumper post like this, I could always use a regular post right here, because this doesn't need any... How would I do that? That might be a better solution. Because then I can take this, and... Because this angle was kind of nice here. With this target. And I can actually take this... Actually, let's not modify this target. Let's take this target. Let's rotate this. If I have this target like this, you know, just slightly like this, then when you backhand and hit this target is backhandable. I need to rotate this a little differently. When you backhand and hit this target, because this target is backhandable, technically, that does skip off of this, and it did kind of go up and around, which is kind of a fun little thing. How about we try this? Put that up like that. I can then take a big post. Should probably be a double rubber post there, to be honest. Because this is gonna be shooting into it pretty hard. Where's my posts? One of these double rings, not that one, this one. Mate that onto here. Get this out of the way. This fits really kind of nicely right there. That might be a good solution. Yeah, that might be a pretty good solution. Vice holes. Let's adjust this. This is no longer going to be on there. This is instead going to be on there. This, instead of it being... Well, actually, I should probably take this, unfix it, and just take all of these and move it out of the way. 100% Pinball. And then I can draw another new box. And I know the fillets are gonna complain to me, but oh, will you stop screwing that up? This down to here, down to here. Thank you. All right, and this needs to be perpendicular also. Get rid of, stop these lines. Stop these lines. And this is 1/2 inch. And this fillet is complaining because a couple of those corners don't exist. Get rid of those, and instead let's add the corners to this thing. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Build. I don't know why it's complaining. What mates are a problem? Oh. These mates that I just added, so I can get rid of those. I don't need them. Okay. So this probably would work okay. Because I really didn't need a black bumper post there. Now this does mean it's like one additional different plastic post. But if I really wanted to get fancy, I could just replace all, well, I guess I only have 3. I have this plastic post, this plastic post, this plastic post, because these other ones are adjustment posts, if you remember. I could, in theory, just replace these 3 posts and have them all be double posts, because then I can just double post between these two, and or double rubber between these two, which is, I think that's fine. This being said, this over here now is pretty wide open, especially when I pull this up. All right, so now I have that target. This target is still hittable by this. It's hittable by the left flipper, and it's hittable technically by the right flipper also. You can just graze it and hit a couple things. So that is a hittable target everywhere. Yeah, I don't need these anymore. I'm gonna hang on to this post in case I do decide to put it somewhere. I don't think I will, but just in case. Now I want to modify this rail, because this rail can definitely come in more. So what is the ideal orbit? Because ideally, if you shoot the left orbit, it should come back down to the right flipper, right? Because the right orbit is coming around to the upper right flipper. The left orbit should come down to the right flipper. So let's see if I can make that happen. And that would be under guides. These things. Yeah, right now I have this coming over here. What happens if I move this to be more here? What is it going to take to make that a thing? Obviously, I need to unfix this. That's fine. This has to come down like this, basically, to here. Um, this can come down a little bit, right? Ah, yeah. All right, let's get rid of this. It's gonna cause all kinds of problems again. That's okay. Tangent. That comes right up the way it really should. It comes right down, and it bashes right into this post. So that's no good. Pull this forward. This prevents it from bashing into the post. But this would need to come down, which is not really all that possible. All right. Yeah, so if you look at this line here, this orbit exit line here, the ball would come right and it would hit right on the upper corner of this post. That's not really what you want an orbit to do. Now if I make this come more to the edge of the flipper, now the ball is just grazing the post. It's still largely doable up here. I don't know what that's complaining about. Now what is that modifying something up at the top there? Thinking about it. Why are you fine with down here but not up there? I am confused. Do that. Let's make sure this is in the right spot. That's the spot that I want. Curve this more. Okay, you're fine with that curve. That's kind of a big curve. There's nothing wrong with it. This is perpendicular to this. Yeah, so that curve, yeah, that'll be fine. All right, so there's the new orbit section, which also means this post can get shifted a little bit. And we're going to have a million errors. No, we're not, because it's not bound by that metal guide. Oh, yes, we are. Okay. This sketch, this no longer exists. This no longer exists. Okay. And there's the 1.5 million errors. Just like last time. That's fine. I can fix these. Ow. I can fix these. All right, so this obviously doesn't exist there now. This doesn't exist there. This needs to come. Needs to come onto here. I need to go. I need to do bottom view. Because these are technically attached on the bottom. Really? Come on. One side. Thank you. This does need to be a little bit of a distance from there. So we'll call this 0.25 inches. That'll give space for the post. Come on, select this. Right, and this is going in the corner. Where is that corner? Oh man, it's inconveniently right there. Let's hide this. What the hell? Oh, that was the left inlane ramp. Hide that. Yeah, there we go. This needs to go in the corner here, please. Thank you. You. What are you attached to? All right. Stop. Stop for a minute. You need to attach up there. Get off of that. And this. And this. There we go. Those two things need to be coinciding. There we go. But I have a whole lot of feet on here, like per usual, since this is kind of where the ball's slamming a lot, and I just want to protect the bend. I don't want it to get malformed after lots of play. So 2 inches there. Next, there's the cut extrude problems. These can go here and here and here and onto here. These go away. Hi, folks. How are you doing tonight? In the corner there. There we go. All right, so that fixes that issue. Next, we have the fillet issue. Those two missing edges, and we will add new missing edge or unmissing edges, non-missing edges. This is the smaller fillet. Discussion on gameplay. What about gameplay discussions going on? Oh, looking at the wrong. Oh, good. You're doing the Inkscape thing. Good, 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 good. Yeah, so I use Inkscape to cut out my stuff, or to prepare toolpaths to cut out my play fields and various things. And one of my buddies who comes and works on his game at my shop, he's finally starting to work and use Inkscape. For anyone who's watching now and in the future, Inkscape is a very useful program. I highly recommend. Uh, that takes care of these. What the hell just happened? Get out of that. All right. Next, this cut extrude is obviously wrong. Very wrong. It's perpendicular to nothing. This needs to attach. Well, this is not going to be 3 5/8. I can tell you that much. These things are perpendicular. Really? This and this is perpendicular. Good. And this and this is what did you just do? This and this are, I don't know what the hell's happening right there. Like deleting my lines undesirably. Perpendicular. That's perpendicular. All right. Um, this stretch is gonna be 1 inch? Question mark? Yeah, about 1 inch. That'll probably work. Exit out of this. Now, can I pull this ramp up to here? Yeah. So these ramps don't need to be perfect, really. If it's close enough, the ball is going to kind of pop into the play area. So I'm not concerned that there are these little gaps and whatnot. This right here is no good. Oh yeah, because this used to be up there. So that's actually interesting. This that can be adjusted on this ramp. This so some of these cuts. So that's an extrusion. That extrusion I want to stay. This cut I don't need anymore. Interestingly enough. Let's edit this component. This cut, I no longer, well, no, I do need some of this cut. I don't need this part of the cut. Um, this extrusion is now more in the middle, which is fine, because that keeps it kind of in place so it doesn't move around. And I do want to move that cut that I just got rid of, actually, down here. How about I just add a point here, 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 here. How long is this? 5 inches is about right. Why are you not down to that? There we go. All right, and now that this is all done, these device holes are wrong, so I gotta move this back up to a new spot. This is over here. That way that can kind of shove in there. And that's good. Oh, and this one. This is no longer there. This is actually over here now. Like that. All right, that fixes that rail. Oh, I just noticed that I had something enabled that I don't want. Go edit this assembly for a second. Get rid of that. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I have a new orbit that's a little more in parallel with this left side, so it's going to be a little easier to hit on both sides. Um, it's definitely not as wide as it used to be, but it doesn't need to be. This orbit should come down to the tip of this flipper. It'll be a tough shot to catch, but you'll be able to shoot around and grab it. Now this post here can move over to this spot roughly. Okay. But because this is now so wide, I think I might want to put another post down here. Now, in theory, I could put a target there. Um, I don't think I want to do that. I do have this assembly underneath here. It needs to be dealt with. Oh, this needs to be managed. Ramp footprint. This needs to come back up. Whoops. Yeah, this needs to come back up. Hey. Hey. Here we go. And then that's what, a device hole? Yeah. But what is your problem now? Should be vertical. It should be vertical. There should be tangent. There should be tangent. These should be equal. And they shouldn't be that high up. All right, so that fixes that ramp. On this side wood border. So I don't think I need to extend that. This ramp comes how high? That high. Yeah, so I was thinking the plastic that goes on this right side here. Might be enough to prevent the ball. Whoops. Might be enough to prevent the ball from popping into that area. So all it needs is a post, really. Make sure it does. Yeah, no, the ball can't get in there. So I also don't need on this ramp. No, don't do that. I also don't need the side piece here. Need that. I don't need that. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. And I don't need this. What are you complaining about now? Um, I still need this. One 1/16. That's 1/16 down. Because that's where that curve down is. Technically. Well, I guess I don't need that anymore, do I? What happens if I get rid of that? Well, I fillet this whole thing, right? Yeah, what happens if I get rid of this? Yeah, I think that's gonna be alright. This needs to be redefined, but oops. That's expected. On this point right here. Yeah, yeah, that just curves it right down. That's alright. Because this plastic is going to prevent it from getting in there. Um, well, I suppose there's no harm in extending this. Is there no harm in extending it? Pull that up. Well, I can go up to there. I don't know if that's even. I don't know if I even want to bother with that. Half of me is thinking of even getting rid of this wood border on the inside and turning it into metal. That comes up this way, so I can easily put a screw mount here, a screw mount on this side, a screw mount on this side. Well, then that would make that wide open, though. I don't necessarily want that. But I could pull the wood border down a little bit to here, where this ramp mounts onto. All right, anyways, speaking of the ramp needs to be defined now. Oh, wait a minute, what's this little piece of... I got a little piece of oops over here I gotta deal with. This whole section doesn't need to be there anymore, does it? No. Instead, it can come, not that, come on, this point here. All the way up and around this way. I don't need any of that section. And likewise, this rail doesn't need to be this far down anymore. That's 1 inch. 1 inch is too much. Quarter of an inch is fine. Because remember, the ball is going to guide up along here. I need a little bit gone to take care of this tip, but I don't need the whole thing. Now, can the ball get stuck over there? I mean, in theory, it could nestle right there. In practice, it probably won't. I mean, an easy solution is to just extend this up and across. Basically, I want to give the ball as little leeway as possible for finding spots to kind of sit. There should be 1/16 of an inch from here. Or 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, that fills that out a little bit more. I'm also going to make this not kill people's hands. In one. So I'm going to give it a little bit of curve there. Whoops. Now this is going to extrude up to this surface. A surface I can't actually click. Of course not. Oh, you're not going to let me click this surface. Yeah, why would you let me click the surface? All right, fine. 1/16 inch. Flip the dimension. All right. That covers that a little bit more. Now the ball won't get caught in that little nook right over there. Again, I don't think it would because I think it's too close to the edge and the ball is going to roll more in the middle here. But just in case, it's now definitely not going to get stuck down there. All right, the plastic, which is something that I've needed to do for a little while now. But all these extra little adjustments I made kind of dictate how this plastic needs to be. Let's go and edit the sketch of this again. All right, so I started this earlier today. I need to show this ramp so I know where this is going. I started this earlier today, but I've since decided that this is going to curl over here more. And is going to come under here more. So it'll mount on this post. In some manner. Just like the other side is doing. I don't really want you to be horizontal. What do you... fix? Because this is also going to have a bunch of layers that kind of come up for this thing. Big plastic. That needs to come in there because then this ramp will prevent space from that point. This needs to not be horizontal. I said this needs to not be horizontal. This come here more. And then there's the ramp right there, so this would have to pull in a little bit. Because the ramp is 1.25. Actually, it's right below the ramp. But yeah, this needs to come down a little bit. Then up and over. And this has relation I don't want. What is the relation? I don't want perpendicular there. Kind of S curves around out of the way of the ramp. They still need this to be like behind here for a little bit of time. let's fix this. So this, for sure, can't really go on. Ugh, don't do that. This can't. Will you stop that? This can't go much more underneath this thing. Looking at the pictures again, because of where this is. Actually, I don't even think it can be there. I don't even think that could stop it. I don't even think this can be over there. It needs to be further up. Like that. I think that needs to be more like this to fit underneath the ramp. This is obviously a problem here. Let's make this round. Let's break these things. This needs to be tangent. This can then come up this way. And be what is it? Point 0.5? No, 0.25. Because that can be like that. One inch. 4 inches? Yeah, that works. What is this? This is 1 inch. 1.25 inches. Yeah, about 1.25 inches. And this should be 0.5 or 3/16. There we go. Now I want 1/16 inch curve here. Well, I can do that later on. You need to be 3/16. Ah. 1/8 55. Okay. This is 1/16. 1/8. Okay. I might as well do this one too while I'm at it. 1/4. There we go. All right, I think that's the base plastic. It'll mount right here. As a primary mount, it'll mount it over here. There will be a piece of metal right here. I might also have it mount on this other side through like a raised up section. That'll help add some support there. Or I will add a post right here. Yeah, no, I'm going to add a post right here that it can mount in, and that'll add support there. And I'll have another small piece of plastic right here to cover just this little section here. There will be a piece of plastic that comes around this section. Well, it kind of comes down over this a little bit and around. There will be some plastic that comes underneath here. I'll have plastic underneath here. And like I said, I'm not going to have plastic over here. I'm going to have a little diagonal cut, but the ball is never going to jump over this way based on how things are. I'll have plastic on this ramp to prevent it from jumping up too high. Same with plastic on like this back section of the ramp here, again to prevent the ball from jumping up too high. I don't foresee it ever having a problem, especially based on how it played previously. But anyways, yeah, all right. So this is probably the base plastic. And something else I'm going to mark on here while I'm at it is the entry point here. That way I know roughly where this ramp comes in. And this ramp that swings around this way is going to slam down around this section as well. Okay, so now time to go into... Yeah, save. Now time to go into that other assembly. This one. I need to start defining everything in here. Yeah, so that's the shape, effectively, of this plastic. Oh, I didn't put a... Well, no, the 0 point is the hole. That's where you drop into. That's right. All right, so new part. How did I define this? Main ball game, slam pad. All right, sweetie. Excuse me. Getting tired. All right, I named it this way. So this is going to be plastic left orbit. This is right orbit. Right orbit lower. And this is going to be saved in an external file. This 0 point is here. This top is, I think, on top. Yep. Good. I can fix that. Is fixed. Good. So let's edit this part. Let's edit a sketch. And let's make this convert entities. And all except for this one. That's good. Now let's get a around here. This is 1 and 1/8. And I can adjust it kind of the way that I did the last one later on. Here's extrude. 16. Come on. What are you doing? Take this. Extrude. 1/16. It says open. It does not have open contours. Fuck off. Okay, it has one open contour. Screw you. There we go. All right, there's the base plastic. So now from here, I need the guides plastic. So new part. Going to be called plastic right orbit main ball guides. This top plane is going to be, let's float this. This top plane is going to be offset mated by by half an inch. No, by 5/8 of an inch. Wrong way. No. Look direct. Yeah, there we go. And fix this. All right, so looking at this, let's view this. Let's show this sketch again. Basically, I want this to come down this way to here. Not that simple, unfortunately. Oh, I should make the hole for this thing because this does need to wiggle over a little bit. Comes from here, wiggles over. Come on, wiggle over and go straight. And then you wiggle back. And you... Oh, why are you mated to that? Yeah, then you wiggle back kind of like that. So let's get this right. I need the hole here. Are you set to... No, you're not. Okay, so that's where that hole is. Yeah, so that's definitely got to push over to the right a lot more, which works well for like grabbing this and for visibility over here, which is a lot of what I'm trying to do. Okay, let's close this. All right, so this thing, edit component. This needs to be a through hole. Okay, now this sketch again, I have a better idea of what I need to do. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'll make fillets here. Give me a fillet, 1 inch, 2 inches. And I'm not going to assign any sizes for this right now because I definitely want these not to be all connected. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to offset entities. Offset entities. Can I grab the whole chain? Not easily. Anyways, I'm going to offset these entities, and this will make it a little easier for me to define like a basic path. So, 5/8 across, and you can see how that kind of lines everything up into what it needs to, kind of what it needs to be. 5/8 is too much. It needs to be 5/8, because that makes it 1 1/4. 1 1/8 is math right now. 9/8, so 9/16. 9/16 inch. Okay, so that kisses that more. That brings it to the size of that. Okay, so now if when I want to wiggle things around, I can just kind of move it and it changes the whole pattern a little bit. This is obviously getting a little thin on this side. And I can't move that in more because this is where the ball entry ramp is. So technically, I kind of need to take this and pull this over this way a little bit more, which I now think I have space that I can take this and shift that over. So let's make 2 circles. Let's make them vertical. And equal, and for construction, and tangent to one another. So now these, oh, well, I should make them ball sized for sure. 1 1/16. 1 1/16, not 1/16, dummy. Okay. This would sit kind of like there. So technically, I fix this and I can kind of pull this up a little higher. Let's stop that. This needs to be fixed here. That's the entry point. This I can kind of pull up this way. Right? That'll work fairly well. And this is not wide enough, technically. So 9/16 is equivalent to 18 30 seconds, so 19 30 seconds. 19 30 seconds. That gives it a little bit more slop so the ball doesn't really bind up much. Now over here, offset distance is not what I want anymore. And offset is not what I want. Oh no, 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 no. Oh right, all right. I take this tangent that around there. But this is ultimately not going to be attached to that. That's what's going on here. Because this can pull up. This attached to that. And untangent that. Untangent that. Fine, whatever. Will you let me move you now, please? Why? All right, whatever. Yeah, so that cups up a little bit like previous. And these, I'm going to get rid of these because I want this not to be quite like that. This and this need to be tangent. That's tangent. This needs to be tangent. Okay, so these also need to be tangent. Why didn't you go tangent? This and this need to be. I'm pressing the wrong button. Tangent. And this be tangent. All right, we'll get rid of that. That got rid of all of it then. All right, well, screw you. It can't be like this anymore. Whatever. All right. So now I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix this because I don't want these to move. But I do want this. Fix this. I do want this to shrink. Right? And you remember I did that on the other side. Make this 0.5. And this can come forward a little bit. Like that. And the ball will fall down into the thing. In theory, it'll fall down into the thing. I'll check it out later on. And now that I no longer have that up here also, I can fix this. Fix this. Get rid of the middle piece because I don't need this anymore. It served its purpose. This can come out more. This needs to stay tangent. This to here can be tangent. This to here is tangent. This needs to stay horizontal to this. So I need to go through and fix a bunch of things because of how I designed this originally. But it made at least the initial tube kind of easier. Needs to stay vertical. This needs to stay vertical, but this is going to come out a little bit more. This is 1 and 7/16 should be fine. Fix that. Make this horizontal. I said fix it. This and this are tangent. This is in the way. Get rid of this. This and this are tangent. This and this is tangent. Yeah, like that. So that's kind of how those guides are going to look. So that gives me my slam position. That gives me my edge position. The edge, I can just copy this a little bit. This, an offset entity. Single direction. 0.5. Don't select the chain. Is that point? Do I want that to be point? Oops. Point the 5/8. Yeah, we'll do 5/8. This and this can undo that. Can come up. This can attach to that. Those can be tangent. So now, I mean, this is a little in, but I mean, that's fine. There is a mounting point somewhere over here that I want to take care of, so I will end up putting a little nook there. There's obviously a mounting point over here, so this doesn't actually go all the way down there. It ends up going down this way more. You know, however, it kind of worked on the other one, too. Something like that. I will clean it up when I bring it into or when I look at the actual thing, because I still need to shift this over a little bit. Right now, let's extrude this. Oh, very similar to the other one. Okay, I do need to go back into the other view because, whoops, not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna hide this now because I need to adjust this up-down post. Oh yeah, I got plenty of space there now. That's awesome. So devices, device holes. This now shifts over. How did I do it on this side? I think yeah, I kissed it right on the side there. Okay. Edit this. Let's take this, unfix this, move it over there, fix it back. And now I want to check this thing. These obviously are going to be in a different spot from where they were. They'll sit like here, which is fine. Good. Yes. Oh, okay, so that kind of billows way out and around. And I have a cut there. So I'm going to mimic the same thing. I'm going to mimic this kind of shape on this side too. Then, I mean, it looks nice if it's somewhat equal in situations like this. And then that has a cut in on that side that has a mount. So I'm going to be, oh, and that's a straight diagonal to a little, yeah, so I'm going to mimic this a little bit on this side. I'm going to try and get these hole shapes the same also. It's not going to be the same edge pieces here. So I could bring this up and over. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That comes up and that goes across. Basically there and up. And this is gonna all be clear except for maybe like a little vine decal that goes around it. So you'll be able to see where the ball is at all times here. I'm gonna have a couple more viney type things on some of this, but you're still gonna be able to see the ball kind of coming through. So it won't be all hidden. This is nowhere near far enough up. So that's actually kind of good. Cancel that. This. I want to pull up here. Okay, so that's that whole thing. That's actually kind of nice because now I can take this whole apparatus. I want that to be horizontal to this at all times. I want this not be coinciding to that, but to be horizontal to this at all times. So when I pull this up, yeah, that's pretty good. Because really, I want to block as little of this as possible. When this was pulled down, that blocked more view than it does up here. And honestly, that's plenty of space for the slam. Plenty of space for this loop around slam. And it's all going to be out of the way of the view. So what's the height of this? That is half an inch. Okay, so I need to change this so it's half an inch off. That's this. Float this, make this half an inch. Okay. And fix it again. All right. So now that's the same height as this. I'll be able to put posts and things in that also. This is basically how this ramp is going to go. That ramp is not wide enough there. So actually, up. Let's see specifically. Yeah, that needs to be quite a bit wider. So interestingly enough, I might just want this to be a straightaway. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of all of this. Pull this straight up. Get rid of this. This is no longer midpoint. Come on, move over. Into there. And this can have a curve. Not like that though. This curve be down here. This is gonna come. Come on, get off of it. Invert the entity. This one. Okay, I guess you already did it. And this goes across to this. And I trim. No, you didn't convert the entity. Fuck off. I want this. Convert. Thank you. Trim. You did. Why are you not converting this? Jesus. I don't know why it's not converting this entity. It should do it without a problem. Alright, that means I need to do a 3-point arc. Well, I can do a tangent arc, I guess. There to there. Can you stop unclicking? Thank you. This can be 3/8. No, it can't. This can be 5/16. Yeah. Okay, so that curves in a little bit right there. And that's more of a straight shot down now. So I want this, I think, to be a little more gradual. That way it's not slamming into the corner or something. So if I set this to be fixed right there, and I can pull this up. Whoops. Moving things all over the place the way I don't want to. Fix that there. Fix that there. These two, I think, need to be equal. Yeah, that'll make that smoother. $2 sounds good. And here to here. 3 sounds good. Okay, now that's a little more gradual. So when that comes straight down, yes, it'll hit this a little bit, but it won't be as big of a deal. Kinda. Yeah, I'll make a similar thing like this over here, but this piece that I have here is actually, interestingly enough, come on, gonna be part of the upper ramp section exit of this. So it'll exit out onto that, drop down, and I'll have a little flange on the top of this ramp to push the ball down onto the slam and across. And then the ball can't fly up and out like what this is preventing, and the ball can't. And then this other ramp will loop down and slam onto the thing as I want. All right, I'm beginning to get tired. I have places to be tomorrow early, so I think I'm gonna stop the stream now. But yeah, so this progressed a little bit. One more stream, like maybe 2 more hours, and this whole thing can be done. You know, a good chunk of the first hour of the stream was just manipulating these other paths and things that needed to be done. And then, yeah, the next stream will be purely focused on this section here, just finishing it up. And once it's done, I'll do a plastic pass on everything. And then it'll probably be time for a new cut. So not so I might have the all the metal bits ready to go by like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and I can send it off to Send Cut Send. I won't get it back until the first week of December, which is yeah. If I send it off on the 26th, I'll probably get it back on the 4th. So on the 7th, I would say would be another build stream of bending the metal, putting cutting out a new play field would probably happen on the 28th or on maybe the 29th. And uh, making new ramps and everything would happen over the course of the next couple days also. So maybe the ramps would be, or maybe the playfield would be on the 28th. The ramps would be on the 29th. The plastics would be sometime the week of the 1st. And then everything would assemble on the 7th. That's my guess. During that time, I'll also order all the targets I need now that I've kind of boiled down the targets, which actually brings me to a good point, Dave. I did trim out a target, right? I did trim out this target, so now there's a single target there. I removed a bumper post, but I added the double ring post. So how about, as the final thing of the stream, I go back to the bill of materials. And let's see if I can find the right view for this. Desktop coding. Desktop tool. Yeah, here we go. All right, so for the last little bit of the stream, let's go to playfield parts. Let's change. Okay, so there's 2 spot yellow, so that would become 1 spot yellow. There is start. So a star post green. You know what? Let's make that. Let's pretend it's a single post for now. That would be 6, and then the machine stud would need to be 15. The mini post. Do I even use the screw posts? I don't think I'm even using the screw posts. Mini post 1032. Yeah, I have that. Where are? Oh, no, that's the rollover switch. Bumper post. All right, so now I think I have 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I still have 8. Oh, so I miscalculated one. Okay, well, anyways, that adjusted that a little bit, and oh hey, this went down a little bit because I pulled out a target. Something to check. Um, what would it be called? Um, Question mark? Those little leaf switchy things that slingshots and whatnot use. All right, here we go. Yeah. All right, so a leaf switch is about $9. So if I want to put a leaf switch underneath here, as I mentioned, just as something to hit, I could in theory do that. No, not delete. I want to insert. Um, which, what is it? Rubber leaf switch. This is 1. This is $9.95. And this is SW 1A114. So adding that in, This is 2057. So I'm still down by like 4 cents, removing that one target and adding in the leaf switch and the extra posts. So that's not bad. That saves like what, $40 across 10 games, $50 after taxes and shipping. Huh. So yeah, that ain't bad. Um, cool. All right, don't need that screen anymore. All right, yeah, I think that's it. I'll see everybody in a few days. I got a few things done today. You know, the rejiggering of stuff. The side plastic is now beginning to form. I did a bunch of music composing for the game earlier today too. I spent a few hours on that. I unfortunately can't stream that because the ASIO for all, or whatever that adapter is the Fruity Loops uses, kind of conflicts with other audio settings, and if I turn that off, it's really, really laggy and not really workable. So I'm sorry about that. But as soon as I have something to share, I'll post it on YouTube again. Um, yeah, cool. All right, see you, everybody.